What is going on, crypto family? This is your boy Random Arts coming with a quick video. And on today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about GameStop and Roaring Kitty, guys. Now, you guys are not bullish enough on GameStop as far as GameStop goes, guys. It could potentially have one of the biggest short squeeze that we could ever see, even topping out 2021 short squeeze. And this is how good the news that just came out in the filing is when it comes to GameStop. And I'm super excited, especially on the Roaring Kitty side, due to the fact that Roaring Kitty will follow the overall movement of GameStop. It is gonna attract a lot of different investors to come into the Wall Street bets as well as GameStop meta, guys. So this right here, in my opinion, is a huge opportunity for us. And I'm excited that I'm already a part of it and constantly accumulating on some of these dips. So the Run Kitty official X account said, "You're not bullish enough on GME. GameStop warrants could lead to the largest short squeeze of all time." Guys, this person, he goes by the name of Uncle Bruce. He called it back in May 17th of 2024 about what GameStop could potentially do to being able to cause a massive short squeeze. So in this video here, I'm just going to play a small clip of it, give you guys a quick breakdown of my thought, my take about it, and that way you guys could get excited as much as I am. So here it goes. I do have it sped up just a little bit, but this is what he had to say.
Option 6 month okay, I'm here. Hey, okay, breaking news on GameStop. Look, I'm Uncle Bruce, and this channel is called Stock Markets with Bruce, and I try the best way I can to explain what the hell is happening in the stock market in plain English. And I also help viewers of mine make a ton of money on the stock market by writing options. And if you're a regular, you know all that. If you're a regular, there will not be a Gold Bagel member alert show because I have no time. This is breaking news just yet. Then I have to go live immediately to get everyone up to speed on what's going on. Okay, look, the stock is down right now about $5 a share, $5.60 a share. It doesn't matter. This isn't going to last very long. The street does not understand what is going on. They think they know what's happening, but I think they might be on the wrong side of this idea here. The company has made 3 separate press releases in succession and 3 separate filings, bang, 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 with the SEC. And you have to ask yourself this question: why is GameStop interested in doing what they just did this morning by filing SEC filings, where they're expected to lose money in the first quarter by like $20 million, although their sales and expenses have dropped by $50 million estimate in the first quarter?
Mind you, this was back in 2024, so currently right now, GameStop is not losing any money. They actually made money based upon their last filing here, guys. Let me get that pulled up so that way you guys can see. Yeah, they made 22%, guys. 22%, $972 million worth of net sales. Huge, huge, huge. So let's continue with this.
Quarter already, which again the street ignores. And why would they want to raise cash and dilute their shareholders and all this so-called talk that you hear about? Oh, GameStop is going to raise money because they're losing money. Oh, they got $1 billion in the bank. They're going to lose.
Now, fast forward to 2025. Again, this was back in 2024. Fast forward to 2025. They have close to about $10 billion worth of cash. Close to $10 billion worth of cash. Huge. So that's almost 10 times the amount that that was initially had back in 2024. Let's continue.
20 million in the first quarter. So what? They have $1 billion in cash. Here's the game plan, kids. Don't forget the one little thing, and that is that Ryan Cohen, who is the CEO of the company, the chairman of the board of the company, and the company's single largest private shareholder, and a guy who doesn't pay himself any money to be the CEO and/or director of the company. He might get some director of fees, which all directors get, but that's not the issue. The guy doesn't get paid millions of bucks a year. He has to deliver results for the corporation for the shares to go up in value so that he becomes richer, which is exactly what you want to know. Why is this guy, and this is Ryan Cohen talking, this is not anybody else, Ryan Cohen and his pals on Wall Street have put together a prospectus to talk about issuing either stock.
Now, this is where things get really juicy here. Due to the fact that Ryan Cohen does not get paid to be a CEO of GameStop, he is heavily reliant on the price of GameStop going up. This is the same thing when I say like you have a dev that actually buy into the token. This is the same thing that's happening right now with GameStop, and this is why, in my opinion, we should see a massive short squeeze. Now, he's going to continue and just let you know, guys, how exactly this is going to happen. So let's continue to listen.
Stock and or warrants and or rights offerings to the market to raise cash. Now, the key word here is warrants. Warrants. I would love to see this company come out with a warrant offer where, those of you who don't know what this means, is if you're a shareholder of GameStop right now, you own 1,000 shares, 100 shares, whatever it is, every shareholder would be gifted warrants in the company. So for every share you have, you get a warrant, for example, something like that. And the warrant is like an option. It's a call option. And you'd be given it for nothing. And it would last for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. There would be a time frame for it to live. So it could be a 3-month option, 6-month option, something like that. And it would give you the right to convert the option into stock and the stock would come from the treasury. In other words, you could buy stock from GameStop using a warrant to put more money in their pocket and give you more shares. Now, think about this. It might be that for every 4 warrants you have, you can buy another share. So there are 300 million shares out there, and they could issue 75 million shares, 1 for 4, 25% dilution. And if they were to talk about a price of, say, I'll just say $30, I might be a little higher, doesn't matter. But if it's a $30 price, the shareholders of the company have the right to give GameStop $30 a share for 75 million shares in total. And that includes Mr. Ryan Cohen and his stock. But it also means that if you are short the stock, if you've shorted it, and there are 65 million registered shorters that we know of, and 1.5 billion rumored shorters that we are aware of, you are now short a warrant. You have to acquire a warrant, or you have to acquire shares in the company in order for you to get warrants, or not to be shorted warrants. In other words, if you're short 1 million shares of GameStop, you're now going to be short 1 million warrants, and you need to buy 1 million warrants to get out from underneath your short position, and you only have so many days to do so. And if you don't, you are
Now that is right there is the key part, because again, they just made this announcement. This is the SEC filing. So on the SEC filing, the way that it works, you need to have 10 shares. It is 10 shares of the common stock in order for you to get one warrant. So meaning if they have 1 million warrant, then that means they need to have 10 times the amount of the stock. Guys, that is huge, because they would have to go literally on the open market to buy up GameStop, which would cause a massive short squeeze. Now, in his example, he was saying the strike price as far as for the warrant would be at 30, but the actual, again, this was back in 2024, and this was one is his suggestion. But the strike price is $32 per share, guys. $32 per share is the strike price. So if it gets above $32, then people could start to exercise those warrants, guys. It is phenomenal. It does a couple of different things in the background. It also provides GameStop, the company, capital, as well as it is going to force these short sellers to start covering where we could see a massive. So if people have naked shorts that's out there, and that's pretty much shorting a stock without actually having the shares, and let's say they even have millions. So these are shares, or these are going to be shares that's not even accounted for, which would cause the price of GameStop to go ballistic, guys. Again, this is super, super bullish news, and this is why we're seeing the reaction that we're seeing right now. So far, we need to get above this blue line right here on GameStop in order to start to see that happen. Now, these are going to be issued according to the SEC filing. It's going to get issued on October 3rd. So, less than a month, as long as it is above $32, and this is going to last to October 30th of 2026. So you still would have about a year just to be able to exercise it. So the people who have huge amount of investment into GameStop, they're going to automatically start to exercise these warrants, guys. So again, this right now is brewing up to be a massive, massive, massive short squeeze. So how does Roaring Kitty token play a part into all of this? Again, going back to the thesis, always refer back to the thesis when it comes to GameStop. The GameStop thesis says the GameStop meta return. Since Keith Gill, aka Roaring Kitty, made his comeback, we've seen an undeniable link between his presence in both GME stock and our token, meaning Roaring Kitty. GameStop has a die-hard cult-like following that truly believe it's going to go over $100. Now, with this warrant, it is going to give it that capability of going to that $100. And I said, technically, once GME clears the $35 range, which is right about over here, this is resistance. And this is why we've seen this dump right here. Once it clears this, it is going to give it this path to reaching over $100. So let's continue reading. Where we at? Technically, once GME clears the $35 range, it opens up the chart for a strong breakout, and it's currently hovering around $34. Meanwhile, $24. Meanwhile, major institution like BlackRock, that's a big player that is constantly accumulating GameStop, are buying and speculating the rise at GameStop may start accumulating Bitcoin. So that actually happened. That was the speculation at the time of when I wrote this thesis, but that has happened. They actually made in their SEC filing that they may actually acquire more Bitcoin. So that is huge. So I said, what happens when that GameStop height hits the next leg? Roar as a digital eco of the movement is perfectly positioned to ride the wave. We saw when GameStop started going to up to $30, that Roaring Kitty token was following the price action and reached a penny, guys. Now imagine $100. Again, all it is just us piggybacking off of GameStop. That to me is one of the easiest thesis that you could see, because again, the charts don't lie. When GameStop was having its movement upwards, what did we see? Boom. And as soon as GameStop started having its downward pressure, this is exactly what we saw. Now, since then, we've recovered without the GameStop movement, but now we're actually at a higher place, and now we're going to be able to move with the GameStop movement as well. And even if you couple it in with Keith Gill, aka Roaring Kitty, making his comeback, because this right here is attractive. Like, let's say he owns, a lot of GameStop still. Guess who's going to be converting his shares or converting over to the warrants as well? He is, and that is just going to allow him to get more GameStop shares, guys. Again, this is super massive, super underrated. I don't think a lot of people really understand. And if you do not understand, please go to our X account, watch this video in full, and you will become extremely bullish, guys. But really, that is all that I have for you guys today. I thought I'd at least just make this video because I didn't want to make this video too long, but things right now is looking pretty good. Oh yeah, and by the way, Roaring Kitty, guys, currently got a boost going on CoinMarketCap. So more eyeballs could potentially start happening today. So who knows? But let me know though in the comment down below your thoughts, your opinion about all this. Random Arts guys signing off.